I think so. We can start at the beginning. I'm really happy that Minna confirmed, and it's here with us. It's the first lecture of our international project for music professionals, BandsUP, and I'm really happy that it's possible to do that during this not so good time, during pandemic time. But I hope so we will see each other live very soon. And so many thanks, Slovak Arts Council, for supporting us. And yeah, we can start. Also, many thanks, Hudba SK and Jazz SK, our media partners. And finally, we spoke with Minna that at the beginning it will be really happy if somebody told us something about yourself, only shortly about the musical skills, about the band, what do you want, what do you prefer. Maybe we can start with Maria.
Yes. Yes, just tell you if you're an artist or if you have a band, and so I get the picture who is representing who. Thank you.
Yes, can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Yes. Hey, I'm Maria. I'm a jazz flautist and singer and composer, and I play in other people's bands and I have my own project as well. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Marek. Marek is mute microphone. Okay. Maybe Jakub and Katka.
Yes, I can take it from here. We're in the band called Trilobit, also with Marek. We're just like not really professionals, but really enthusiastic about the music. And,
I think so. You are professionals.
It's nice to hear.
Step by step.
And we play some like of jazz fusion style instrumental music.
Okay. Bara.
Hello. Hey.
Hello.
I'm sorry, I'm sitting outside because I couldn't make it home, so it's a little bit chaotic here. But I'm a singer-songwriter from Prague, and I'm doing the Czech lyrics, awesome music, playing mostly with the piano or synthesizers, and with the band or solo, like all kind of formations.
Okay.
Okay. Ildiko, are you here with us?
Hello, my name is Vika. I am from Trnava. I am musician. I like singing and composing my own songs. I'm very glad to be here.
Good. I can't see your face though.
Yeah, because I was hidden it because I don't look very nice today.
I think so. You look really nice. Also.
Well, maybe after an hour you start looking the way you want to present yourself.
Okay.
Anyways.
And Marek, it's also from the Trilobit music band. And Norbert. Okay, Norbert, you can introduce yourself if you want. Noro?
Hello.
Shortly.
Hi.
Introduce yourself.
I'm Norbert. I'm a bass player. I have a child.
Okay. Nice.
Nice. Okay. Maybe Minna, you can start, and we will see if somebody also attend us, and yeah.
Okay. Did Marek already introduce himself?
Marek is also from Trilobit music band, and
okay.
I'm not sure if he would like to introduce himself.
Okay. It doesn't matter.
Here is Miriam. Oh, Miriam. Okay. You can also introduce yourself shortly. Mirka? Oh, hello, Stefan. Mirka, you can introduce yourself shortly.
Oh, hello. So I'm from Slovakia. I am violinist, singer. Do you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm a composer, and I compose other classical music, like contemporary music.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Stefan?
Hello, everyone. I had some technical difficulties, logging in, but I don't know where you guys at the moment, but I'd like to thank you, Sasha, for organizing this event for us. And I'm not sure what our task is now, so if you could just
try to introduce yourself shortly.
Oh, okay. So actually, I have two bands. I have a solo gig where I play guitar and do vocals, and I have an international duo with a wonderful singer from Hungary, and that's what we do: musical interpretations of poetry and own compositions. So that's it.
Thank you.
Okay.
So
time.
yeah, I'm going to tell just briefly about myself, and then you can put already the first slide on, please, Sasha, while I'm telling this. So I suppose you read something about my background. I've been in the business for over 25 years, and I have actually done quite a lot of things, except that I haven't been working in a record company, but I have kind of done majorly the other stuff. I've been producing and programming festivals. I've been an agent and a manager for bands, both in Finland and abroad. I've been doing international trainings. I've been mentoring. I've been organizing webinars on various subjects. And I mostly work with folk, world music, and jazz, mostly. But I also have my left foot in the contemporary classical music field, because I've always been in the marginal, in a way that never really worked with the most commercial genres. Pretty much always done, it from the marginals, so that it means that the challenges are maybe a bit more, and financing is slightly different than compared to, let's say, pop and rock or classical music. So I've been in many positions representing bands, selling bands, buying bands, promoting bands, and I've done this work internationally in a way that it's not only about Finnish bands in Finland, but also I've been representing bands from abroad, from US, Italy, Holland, Luxembourg, Estonia, and many other places. So that's kind of the summary of my doings. And why I'm doing this basically is because Sasha and myself, we have known for quite a few years, and I've been doing these presentations at other festivals and conferences. So maybe something, remained there in your head, and you thought that it might be worthwhile for other musicians to hear. So thank you for the invitation. I'm really happy to meet you all. So
thank you.
Let's start. Thank you.
Start the presentation.
Let's do the presentation. You can share the screen. We tested this. It did work.
It's work, I think.
Okay. Can you see the full screen?
No.
No, just the one slide. Okay.
Not yet.
Do you see the full screen or no?
No.
Not yet.
I can. If you click on it, then it will go big.
Okay.
It's just the size of the gallery pictures.
Okay.
So we needed to go to the full screen.
Wait a moment. It's okay now?
Yes, it's working fine for me.
Not for me.
It's okay, it's fine, but everybody have to click on the presentation, you will see the full screen.
You click the presentation.
And
there you go.
Everybody.
Yes, it did work for me. You just click the screen. There you go. Is everybody following now with the full screen?
I'm successfully.
Yes. Okay, good.
Okay.
So this is the subject, how to build an international career, and let's go to the next slide.
Okay.
So basically, we can summarize this presentation to 3 things. First is about what you have as an artist or a band leader or a composer or a producer. What is the product that you are taking abroad, that you want to have the international career with? And before going anywhere further, that has to be very clear in your head, what you are selling and promoting. And then comes the plan, the international plan, which has to be done both for the short term and for a longer term, so that you have set your target somewhere to the 2 or 3 years time or 5 years time, and then you start thinking, how do I get there? What are the steps that I need to take in order to reach my goals and my dreams? So you need to have a plan, because if you don't have a plan, you just start doing things randomly. You just take one gig here, another one there, and you try to find funding for maybe an album release, and then you have another gig again. Then maybe another colleague artist asks you to join their band or feature on their record, and you do that as well. And you start losing the focus quite easily if you don't have a concrete plan to yourself. And then the third part is the team, the people you are working with. Who ideally would be in your team so that you can build an international career, the people helping out with their expertise and supporting you so that you can be an artist, a composer, and just focus on your work while the other people are doing the work in your team around you. And if you don't have the team, then it's probably do-it-yourself concept, or maybe you have a little bit of assistance somewhere. But in order to make a successful international career, it would be very important to have some kind of a team with 1 member or 5 member, it doesn't matter, but a team which will help you and work for you is the third essential part of this presentation. And we go to each of these 3 topics now with separate slides. And after every topic, you can, ask questions before we go to the next one, so that we can, have a bit of a discussion as well about the stuff that might pop into your head while we are talking about this. So let's go to the first one, product. Please, Sasha, can you switch the slide? Here you are. And it's a terrible word, product. It sounds very commercial, but that's kind of the best that people have come around in this music business, because it can be multiple things. It can be an artist, it can be a band, it can be a solo thing, it can be a music, a work, a composition, it can be a symphony, or it can be a soundtrack, it can be a project that you maybe record, in which case it will become an album. So the product that you are going to take to international markets and fields can be anything of these, or it can be everything combined. Let's say that you are a Slovak pianist, and you are forming a band around you who would play your music, which you have now done based on some old Slovak folk music themes. So it comes a project. Maybe you have done something very different before, but now you have this project and you have formed the band, and you're going to the studio, and it will be a release. So in the end, all these kind of come together, and that's what you might want to sell to international promoters. So you need to have this figured in your mind clearly. What is it about? What is your product? That's the very core of everything, and that's the most important thing. The content. What is the content? And at the same time, you need to think, how do you pitch the project or your product? Because let's say that there's a showcase festival, and you are in a hotel elevator, and you will see somebody standing there, and they have a name badge hanging on their neck, and it said, this is Rudolstadt Folk Music Festival artistic director, and you're like, oh my God, this is the man I have always wanted to talk to, what I'm gonna do. And the man is very kind, you are on the 3rd floor and 4th floor in the elevator, and he says, so what are you doing here then? So you need to have your elevator pitch ready, so you can shoot it. Not give a flyer or a brochure, or not even maybe a business card, but you need to be able to tell, in 15 seconds what you are doing here. And it might be, oh, that's interesting. So are you having a showcase maybe here? Yeah, tomorrow night, 9 p.m. welcome. It's the main hall. So you have to have that kind of ready in your head that whenever the chance comes, you are able to tell what your product is about. Or it can be just kind of a slogan, so you don't have to think about like lots of different kind of things, but it can be some kind of a slogan, like, you know, there's one example that I like to use. There's a Finnish flamenco singer who lives in Lapland, and there's this nice contradiction between the flamenco and Lapland. So she says that, you know, I'm the northernmost flamenco singer. So that sounds already interesting. Somebody's from the north but sings flamenco. Or there's a Danish band I just mentored a couple of months ago. They are 4 string players, and they are doing, let's say, medieval flavored Danish original material. So they can say, well, we are all about strings, you know, we are 4 strings. We come from Denmark, and we bring the medieval Danish folk scene to the audiences. Whatever it could be, but, you know, it has to be kind of, you know, punctual, but very clear. And you have to work this in your head. How do you present your product? And how does it stand out from the others? There's this showcase festival, and there are 42 other bands performing. So how do you actually stand out so that this director from the Rudolstadt Festival actually thinks, okay, well, that's the interesting one. I have to really remember tomorrow at 9 p.m. main stage, because there are others, you know, playing as well. So how do you really stand out from the others? So some kind of a very clear image or brand, if you like, that is different from the others. There will be other Slovak bands. There are other Slovak folk bands, other Slovak jazz bands, but is it about the instrumentation? Is it your inspiration, where you come from? Is it that you are located in a remote island? You've been composing there for 2 years on your own, and now you have a brilliant piece of music that you are playing with a multicultural band combined from, you know, different parts of Europe, whatever it is, but think that it would sound different from the others, even if it's maybe not, because there are probably, you know, quite a lot of jazz trios and jazz quintets, and there are a lot of folk bands with, you know, great vocalists and lots of strings and lots of traditional instruments. But what is the one that makes you stand out from the others? But try not to use the word unique, because even you might think that, oh, nobody has ever done this. You never know, though. So don't use the word unique lightly unless you are 101% sure that this is really one of a kind in the whole world. But otherwise, it's totally fine to use, like, you know, lots of positive words and adjectives and, you know, praise you're doing. That's actually, you know, what you need to do anyways. And, you know, when you have the image or, you know, the certain branding, then you don't have to say too many words. I'm not sure if you know the Ukrainian band Daka Braka. They are 4 members, 3 female, 1 male, and they all use Ukrainian costumes. But what they really are known about, that they have these massive fur hats, which are like, you know, 1 meter high, and that's kind of their image. Even if you see a silhouette of the band, the hats will tell that, oh, this is Daka Braka. You don't have to see the faces, because the costumes are not that unique. Other Ukrainian folk bands also use the same costumes, but the hats are making them unique. They have really exaggerated with their hairdo. So when you have a certain image, use it in your photos or make the videos match your image. When you write your biographies or introductory texts or your marketing letters, make sure that this image of yours comes through. Choose the right kind of words and right kind of background to your images so that it really tells more than 100 words. If you have merchandise, or you bring some promotional little objects to, let's say, world music or jazz music expo, whether it's a little whistle or a necklace or a some kind of matchbox with your information around it, or if it's a scarf, or if it's just a tote bag, or whatever it is, try to think that those match your images. If you're a very earthy acoustic band with kind of lots of tradition, and you keep it to the very let's say kind of nature related matters, you might want to think green also in your merchandise, so that you don't produce plastic materials, but you also think that your material is all very organic and recyclable, rather than plastic cups or something. But then you also take your image all the way through the materials that you are using, the printed materials, your merchandise, the way you clothe, etc. So think about what your product is about, how to present it quickly, and how does it look from an outsider, and you have a very compact and focused image which can be seen throughout your materials, at the website, in the the way you look on stage, your album covers, and the rest of it. Do you have some questions about this? Anyone? Maybe Sasha, you can see if somebody is maybe raising hand or.
Okay, any questions? Oh, Maria?
I have a quick question. So
Yes.
I have been thinking about this recently, because basically, so I'm a jazz musician and I have a band, and I have started this thing. It is actually like, it's funny that you mentioned this like folk thing with other thing, because it is like kind of folk but arranged like in a jazz style. And I lived in London for ages, so all the guys are from there, and I'm the only Slovak person there. And basically, we are about to record our album, and I have been going the way of like a band name, so it's like called Topolana, and it has all of this this image thing. But as I went on, I kind of realized, okay, like this is kind of my main project as a jazz artist, and it is very much based on my culture, and on the arrangements are mine. I'm the only Slovak person there. And I have been kind of thinking, okay, would it be better to just have it under my own name, as my own project? And I think that this is kind of a big question for me in general as a jazz musician. Like you have these, I don't know, famous artists who start their bands, and they do many different projects, but it's all under their name, and that's how people recognize it. And I guess my question is like, is it, I don't know if there's an answer to this, but what would you think? What would your instinct be? Like, is it better to kind of try to build a band image, even though it's kind of, very much focused on kind of my artistic identity, or is it better to just have it kind of under my own name and maybe later do a completely different kind of more jazz directed project,
Well, if you're not very well known internationally, I would definitely do it on your own name, because you would, get your name appear in different places. And it doesn't matter if in the future you have different projects and different bands, but you have your own name around which you build all the other lineups, and maybe musically they will be also different from each other. So I would use your own name at this point. But if the band grows and it kind of comes an entity on itself with great success, it doesn't really compete with your career on your own name either, because you might have another project, you might do a solo project, you might do some other things. But the main thing is that your name would be in promoters' mind, and if you have different bands, it would always be about you and your music eventually. But it also depends on the musicians. Are they happy with that? Because if you have put this band together, if you have chosen the musicians, then it might be that they are happy to, be in your band, and when the promotion is done, it's under your name. I think they might be just fine if they are not having, a lot of reputation on their own names yet either.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I think that in this situation, I don't think that they mind. It's more that I was thinking about this branding thing, and that's why I kind of made the name, and we did a tour, and it's all under the band name. But yeah, I'm kind of thinking about changing it. But yeah, thank you for your answer.
But no, you're welcome. And also the things that this is part of the plan, which we're going next. What is your plan as an artist? Are you planning to be very versatile, having lots of different lineups, or are you planning to focus on this band now that you are, playing at the moment? So it would have to fit in the big picture. If you have a big picture with lots of different kind of dreams, you wanna, compose, you wanna have a solo career, you wanna have a, big band, and you wanna have a quintet, you wanna be a soloist in symphony orchestras. If these are all your dreams, so where do these different lineups are placed in this future plan? Because you can't focus on everything at one go. Sometimes you have to choose what is the current project at the moment. Maybe, there's an album coming or something, and then on the album there might be release tours, and you just can't do 3 other things. So this consideration that you are now doing is also about the big plan about your future and where you want to go and what your dreams are.
Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay. Any questions?
I have one. Yeah, in Slovakia, it's quite popular, or I think that it's quite popular that the band is engaged in some political theme or something else. Is it like this also in some in your country or in the world?
It can be. If that's important to you, then you should definitely, keep that in your music, because if you're an artist who has a very strong message, don't hide it. And, there are politically orientated artists in every country, and there are artists which have different kind of, topics that they want to bring up, whether it's environment or gender balance or political issues or poverty or whatever. If it's an important topic, you as an artist, just use it. Don't hide it or anything, because if you start working against your principles, it's not going to work out. You have to be true to yourself and what you are doing. And I have this, I think there's somewhere in my forthcoming slides, I mentioned this, that don't compromise with your artistry, because in the end, if you try to please, whether it's promoters or label directors or anybody, then you will lose your own mind and your own message while trying to please lots of important people in the business. So I would say that whatever is important to you as the content of your music, keep it and don't compromise with it.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, do you have any questions, or we can continue?
May I have
maybe we can...
a question?
Oh, okay.
Okay. Thanks. You have mentioned the product, and it's quite an interesting approach to view it. And is there like a stereotype? I'm really interested in you like representing your country's musical field. So is there any information around regarding musicians from Slovakia, so our acts, or any like presupposed ideas or views of how we pursue music, and what are there any expectations if an act, let's say from Slovakia, would get the chance to perform in your country? So how are we viewed as a product, or is our product valuable or as valuable as some products from maybe overseas, if we consider maybe the field of jazz music. So not our country produce that music, but maybe could like a fusion of that genre be as interesting as maybe from performed by bands who originated it?
It doesn't matter where the band comes from, as far as I'm concerned. When I've been booking festivals, I don't care where the band comes from if the music is interesting or the band is, having an interesting message or interesting concept, or they are very strong live bands that they can really move the audiences. I don't care if they are from Korea or Canada or Cambodia. It doesn't matter really.
Okay.
And the brand of, let's say, Slovak music, I'm trying to generalize, but as far as I know, in Finland, Slovak is having this folk music connotation rather than jazz connotation.
Okay.
While Czech more so. Finland knows Czech more as a jazz country because there have been some collaborations between Finnish and Czech musicians some time ago. But Slovak is not ringing a lot of bells in jazz field.
Sure. And how about, you mentioned that you worked in the folk field as well. So how about folk or folkish genres?
They know better because the folk music field is more open-minded, and I think there's more collaborations internationally between folk musicians and the artistic directors of folk and world music festivals. They are more open-minded. They travel widely to check some new bands, while the jazz promoters, they probably go to US or
Sure.
a couple of other places. But the folk and world music promoters, they have larger idea where good music comes from. It can come from anywhere, and in that respect, it doesn't really matter what is the home country of a particular artist, because if it's interesting and it speaks to you, then it's enough.
Yeah, thank you. I think it answered my question. So we're rather perceived as a folk environment, based community, and
generally speaking, yes.
Yeah.
Generally speaking, yes.
But I'm still hope so that we change it step by step, because a lot of you are jazz musicians and you are really nice, but you have to promote abroad, and I try to help you. Maybe.
Thank you. And this is the platform, I guess. No better platform than
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah. Just let me talk to. But I can't. If I'm thinking, when did I see a Slovak jazz musician in Helsinki? I don't think I've ever seen one. And I go to a lot.
But it's maybe because the Jarmila Vlčková from World Music from Slovakia, it's more connected from foreign part of the world, from foreign organizer, etc. And me, in my position, I'm from the youngest generation, and try to go more in with the jazz fluid. Yeah.
Yes.
Because I'm mostly a jazz insider as a world music, but we will see what happens in the future. Yeah.
And it's going to change. But also, I don't think that you consider Finland as a jazz country. Probably not. So, there are lots of countries with really great jazz scene, lots of really talented musicians and interesting work, but they are not traditionally viewed as a jazz country. Because often, people have been looking west to the US, UK as well, with the younger generation, but there have been traditionally very few countries that so-called, mainstream jazz has come from. And those people kind of neglect to remember that, for instance, Poland is a great jazz country, for instance, or Luxembourg. So, it's just that, people sometimes have a quite narrow mind, and very few places they are looking at the new talent or the new trends, and they just kind of don't realize that instead of looking west, maybe we should look east or south or north. But this is also about audiences' expectations, because the big audiences are not normally that aware of the wide jazz scene. They might just know the big names like Gregory Porter, you know, the ones that are known everywhere. And sometimes the promoters are working on very commercial basis, and they book those artists which are on demand, and they know that they will sell tickets. But thankfully, that's not the whole truth anymore. There are smaller players on the field who have a very open mind, and they want to bring new artists from other countries. And then they are very happy when the audiences suddenly find that, oh, this was a great surprise. I never knew that there is, you know, such a great jazz in Slovak. So it will change. It will change for sure. Okay. So let's go to the plan.
Yeah. Can I switch to another slide?
So when you are thinking of your international career, I said it shouldn't go randomly, you know, from left to right and a little bit further ahead, and then again 1 step back, and then, you know, 2 steps forward. But you should have a plan. You should actively create a international plan. And I usually advise to do it so that there's one plan for 1 year, 3 years, and 5 years. So maybe in 5 years' time, you want to be the best-selling jazz group in the whole world, or you want to be the most touring jazz act in Europe, or you want to be, you know, playing together with the biggest symphony orchestra in Berlin, or whatever your goals are. But, you know, think big and create big dreams, and also have the shorter term plan. Let's say in 1 year's time. We are now living in very strange, exceptional times, but let's say that what is your goal for the summer 22? Where do you want to be in summer 22? Because that's kind of, you know, easier to comprehend, and you will expect that the live scene has woken up again, and you expect to be able to go abroad to play. Maybe you have planned an album. Is it time to release it next summer? So, because you probably, when you are making music or performing music, you probably have some kind of a dream. What do you want to go for? What are your dreams and goals and targets? And you should probably write it down. Write down your dreams and make some kind of a time management. I call it time management. Even, you know, it can be like a concretely calendar in your wall where you set certain targets. It can be, you know, we go studio, and then we release the album, then we tour, then we go to Japan, and then we go, you know, the Southern Europe. We apply for a grant, and then we tour for 1 month in a tour bus, and we just go to every single small festival that we can think of. Or, you know, I have an agent. If you don't have an agent, my plan is to have an agent in 1 year's time. I'm going to actively work towards it. I'm going to find an agent for myself because I have too much to do. I need some help. So whatever your goals are, make a plan, write it down, and think big, but also put some smaller dreams before the very big dream, which is hopefully in 5 years' time. Could be in 3 years' time, but make a short and long-term plan. And then, as I'm speaking here, you think, how will I reach those goals? What do I need to do them? You need to have contacts, whether it's people who help you to realize your plans, or you need to know the promoters who will book your bands. You maybe need to find a label. Then you need to write label contacts that you can maybe start discussion about your forthcoming album. Maybe it's a debut album or your 4th album. You might want to apply for showcase festivals. You want to think what are the right showcase festivals that my band would have the right kind of professionals in the audiences. Where would I gain the most? when is the right time to do the showcases? When do I need to apply? And is it a good timing for my band? Well, our vocalist is pregnant. She's going to give birth next September. So you can't probably apply for, Vomex showcase because that's October and your vocalist is going to be on maternity leave. Or whatever, other private life matters are there. There's a young father there with a child, that might affect the way you can share your private time with your musician time as a bass player. What concerts should you have that it gives you good status? They don't need to be that many, but they would probably be something that other promoters look at. If you have been playing certain festivals that are really appreciated in the field, then it's better to have 5 of those than 10 not very important festivals. Do I need to release an album, maybe get some good reviews, get some airplay to it so that my name and my band's name is gonna be wider known? You need publicity. Your name needs to be out there in the media and in different networks. You need good references, maybe from colleagues or somebody that you have worked with from before, maybe a teacher. You need to have a good reputation as a very committed, hardworking artist who has a very clear vision, because nobody wants to work with not so nice people. Do you need some financial help? Maybe you need to apply for some grants so that you can achieve some goals. Maybe there's some collaboration to do. Maybe there are some bigger names with whom your name will become a bit more known. Sometimes these collaborations can really open doors that you can even think of. Let's say that in Finland, an example, because we are a heavy metal country big time, and in that scene, the Finnish folk music has been for a long time a great source of inspiration. There are these Karelian or lament kind of influences. They use archaic instruments. So a lot of folk musicians have become known because they have featured in heavy metal bands. And there are not only 1 or 2 or 3 examples. Sometimes these musicians actually have started creating their own career outside this metal band, but they have kind of learned about the business playing with some metal band. They have been gigging around the world. They have learned how the bookings go, how the finances go, and maybe they feel, okay, now I know enough. I have also my own material that I have been composing on my tours. I want to go solo, or I want to form my own trio. I have a couple of musicians already in my mind that I would like to play with. So sometimes collaborations can be a great way to advance in your career. It doesn't need to be forever, but maybe it's one tool that will help you. And you definitely need some luck as well, because there are so many other artists and bands in the world that are going for the same dreams, are fighting for the same festival slots, and are trying to get the same space in the media and same airplay from the various radio stations, that sometimes you just need to be lucky that your album ends up to this radio journalist desk on the right moment when that person is just looking around. So what do I have? What would I listen next? And there's a nice album cover, and I'm like, okay, well that looks interesting. I listen to this, and that might be like, wow, I've never heard anything like this before. And then they check more about your band, and they maybe contact you and ask, so can I hear some more material? Maybe is there more albums that you have released? So sometimes you just need that little strike of luck to be in the right place at the right time. And what does it take from you and your band members? It takes commitment. If you have band members who have 3 or 4 other projects, is this the most important to them, or are they giving most time to maybe another project and they are in your band just as a side man or side woman, but really their mind is somewhere else? And you need time because you have to build your contacts. You have to make sure that your materials are updated, and you maybe collect your reviews and list your radio plays. You list down every single new contact you hear of. There has been maybe, you know, lots of ideas coming to your head that you also need to kind of, you know, compress them, and that's time consuming. And then you need to practice, maybe write music, you have rehearsals, etc. You need patience, because very rarely these things happen overnight. You need to be determined about your goals and how you get there, and you work hard. It might be sometimes very frustrating to apply for the grants and get no, and sometimes it's a really boring work that you fill your Excel sheets, your contact informations, but if you are very determined to go where you want to go, sometimes it's a bit boring. It's also very important that you understand about the music business, how things work, and especially how the different market areas work, because it's different if you want to go to the US compared to, let's say, France, or you want to go to Italy, or you want to go to Japan, or you want to go to Russia. They're all very different. So they also need different kind of approach. So you need to learn how different market areas work, how people who are decision makers work in those places. It's important to know that when you maybe want to go to France, it might be best to have somebody who can speak French, or you at least are able to translate your materials to French. It's very important to know that if you want to go to Japan, you have to have at least 2 years before anything happens. They're very slow in negotiating business, making deals, very slow. And again, if you make a deal, it's going to be extremely difficult to get out of that deal. And then there's the Nordic countries. We are quite straightforward and I would say trustworthy. You know, we make contracts which hold. You always get your money, and they're usually not nasty surprises. I'm saying that there are never any nasty surprises. It's all about the people as well. We are all different everywhere, and different people act differently. But usually in the Nordic countries, things are quite fluent and systematic, and you can trust that what you have agreed will happen. And check other examples, check other bands who have maybe done some work already on international fields, how they did it. Was it successful? Have they had some really bad experiences somewhere, or have they been getting some really good experiences somewhere? What kind of music they play? Perhaps that particular country is very fruitful for that kind of music, and maybe you are quite similar to, you know, that music. And so take examples from other artists who might be fairly similar to yours, and see, you know, how they have done it, and keep updated, because the market is constantly changing. We have already seen, you know, what the social media has done in this business over the past 5 years, and also people change jobs. You know, one person might be the biggest festival director this summer, and next year they move abroad and they have a new job in a concert house. And there might be some agencies that will not survive the COVID pandemic, which means that they're not going to be there anymore next year when you're looking for an agency. There might be venues that will not survive this. So when you are maybe trying to build a tour, which also involves certain venues, you need to know if they exist anymore, or how the financial situation has changed the promoters' budgets. Are they booking international names at all, or is it just local bookings? And if there are any international names, are they only booking those which are commercially guaranteed, or are they maybe changing their profile so that they give up all the big names altogether and they start booking the new talent? And you need to take baby steps, not leaping from one thing to another, but just step by step doing different things that will take you towards the goals that you have set for yourself. Sometimes you might need to take a side path from your plan because some excellent chance comes your way. You are asked to feature in an album, or there's a film production that you are asked to compose music for, and then you just need to take the side path. But maybe you turn back to your main road once that is over, or maybe that actually, you know, is something that you find very interesting. And then at that point, you might want to change your plan and think, okay, maybe I'm going to be more of a film composer, more than maybe a performing artist. And also the live scene is changing. We definitely will have more hybrid concerts in the future, maybe less touring from bands from overseas. But anyways, the market is constantly changing and you need to keep updated what's happening. That means you have to have your eyes and ears open all the time, everywhere, and specifically to those territories that you are focusing or aiming at. Right, any questions about the plan? Is everybody awake?
Oh yes, we're awake, definitely.
No. Okay.
No, I don't have any questions.
Okay.
Well, maybe I try to ask something if there's I don't know if it's a good question, but you mentioned that look for someone who's done it before and try to get inspired and try to copy all the steps, all the baby steps to get successful. But let's assume if there has not been that many people, or if in one's case there hasn't been an artist who has taken it to that specific level that one's aiming at, then what would you advise to do?
Then I would maybe speak to a couple of people who have a good experience on the internationals, or let's say European, not maybe worldwide, but European scene, and they have seen what kind of bands success were. It can be, for instance, Sasha, who has been to different conferences and showcases where she has seen what bands are more selected than some others. If there's a Slovak band, again, maybe from the world music scene, sorry, but you know, there's a lot of examples from the Slovak world music scene. For instance, the World Music Expo Vomex, and when there are Slovak bands showcasing at night, the following day at the Slovak booth, there will be people asking information about this band. So from what countries do these people come from? So you will get an idea what countries are kind of more welcoming to this kind of music than maybe some others. So you might want to talk to, you know, 3-4 people who have, you know, some kind of international experience, who have traveled and witnessed different kinds of successes, and they might give you some, you know, good advice, or at least maybe tell you that not worth doing this, you know, at least for now. Maybe you should focus on, you know, Benelux countries, because in Benelux countries there's a lot of Slovak musicians now, and they have been able to collaborate, and some names are ringing more bells, because one success story usually is followed by another success story. So if you don't know yourself, somebody else will know. So look for those people who are more experienced. They don't have to be musicians, but they can be, you know, people who travel quite a lot for the work, festival promoters or radio journalists or tour managers, whoever who might know a bit more than you do.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Anyone else?
No.
Okay.
We can always go back to this, you know, in the end as well. there's time when we finish the slide. So let's go to the next one, please, Sasha, the next slide. Sasha left the room. I think we lost you, Sasha. Is Vladimir following?
Yes, I am here.
Where's Sasha?
Sasha is here.
Oh, she's here. Okay.
I'm sorry. It was a small problem.
Okay. No, okay. I just thought that you were.
No problem. We can continue.
Okay. So let's go to the next slide then, please.
Yes. Okay. Do you see it?
Yeah.
Okay, no problem.
Thank you. Okay. So the third one is the team. In ideal world, you will have a label with good distribution, a booking agent, maybe few agents who work in different territories, a manager. If you are making your own music as a composer, you might have a publisher, and whoever you are, there might be a mentor that is not usually, considered as a team member, but who can actually be a way more important person in your musical career than anybody else. So nowadays, lots of bands publish their own music. They release on their own name. They self-finance, and they try to find the distribution because there are lots of possibilities nowadays in the jazz world. In different territories, there are lots of distribution companies in UK and German-speaking Europe and France, and there are companies which operate worldwide. So wherever you need to focus your activities, you will find the distribution there. Because often the case is that if you want to focus on live music, you want to be a performing artist, you still need to have the albums available in that country. If you want to go to UK, you probably don't get the booking unless your releases are available in UK. It same goes to the Germany as well. So before a lot of luck booking gigs in Germany, you need to have your albums, or at least the latest album, distributed in Germany or German-speaking Europe, as they are often put together. Agent is the selling person who sells your gigs, and you can have one in your home country, you can have one maybe in Germany, you can have one maybe in Northern America. You can have quite a lot of agents if you are a very busy artist, and there are agents who are focusing on specific areas. France is a huge market. Usually, there's a French agent. UK is a really big market. In my cases, the bands have had a separate agent in UK as well, because it's such a massive, especially in jazz, you really need somebody who works locally there. Also, going to Asia, without a lot of exceptions, you need to have somebody who works for you locally, whether it's China or Korea or Japan. Australia, you don't need to have a local. You can sell your gigs from Europe to Australia. They are way less organized in that way. And the manager is the person who is looking after your career as a big picture. If there are a lot of agents, manager is the one who coordinates the agent's work. You can sell all June, you can sell from mid-July to mid-August, you can sell November in Canada. One agent is given, April to sell in Western Europe. So the manager is the time manager as well, in a way that, he or she knows how the artist's annual plan looks like, what territories the agents are working with. And also manager is the one who, in a real ideal world, is the one who looks for the right record labels for you, or is able to negotiate the contracts. If you are a composer who is composing music which could be potentially for audiovisual projects, for film, commercials, games, the manager should be the person who knows how to operate with the synchronized world, how to make deals with film producers or contact the music supervisors so that your music will be end into the film producers and directors' hands. Also, publisher, if you are a composer who wants to be published, you need a publisher unless you are doing it yourself, put it into your desk drawer. So these are the different players, and I wanted to write down the mentor because sometimes if you're a young artist and you don't quite know where to start with and who to contact and where do I find the examples, like the previous question, like, if you don't have somebody who could, lead the way or give the example, the mentor can be anybody. It can be your teacher. It can be some kind of a person who has abilities to maybe help you financially. If you are trying to make an album and you don't have the funds, maybe there's somebody who wants to help you out and finance your album release because that person really believes in you and your music. It can be somebody who is not necessarily even in the music business, but who is, in some kind of a key position to help you find the right contacts for you. So sometimes these people are actually even more important because they help you even without hoping something in return, except that they are really happy when they see you succeed. Like I myself, I have a couple of people that I trust a lot. And when I'm maybe struggling, what should I do? I have too many things on my desk. I need to focus. What should I do? There are a couple of people that I really want to chat with because they usually, help me clarify my thoughts. And they tell me, well, why don't you just leave this out for now and focus because this path seems to be taking you to the position that you want to go for. So somebody who can look as an outsider what you are doing and give you, the good advice. Also, you might need some services which are only on demand. If you have a tour coming or a new album coming, you might want to hire promotion, and there are lots of PR companies that can help you on a project based, or if you have a huge massive project in the Slovak jazz field that there's a lot of artists coming together and maybe forming some kind of a new jazz from Slovakia, some kind of a big project with an album and maybe a tour. Maybe you need some PR company to help you to get the word out. Also, if you are making any contracts at all, you might need some financial and legal services. If you are also an artist or a band that is organizing own events, you might have a producer who's also maybe helping with your logistical matters. If you are touring a lot, maybe you hire a tour manager per tour, not that that person is working for you 12 months a year, but only, maybe when you are touring. Your friends can be your street teams, or your fans in the other countries can be your street teams. That's really important, so that the fan base is coming together and they are having your t-shirts and they speak on your behalf and they support you as fans, and they don't get any pay. They're just happy to get the free ticket to your gig and the t-shirt. So there are different kind of services that you don't need all the time, but sometimes, especially with the agreements. If you're not quite sure when you are given some kind of agreement, is this good for me or bad for me? Today I received an agreement in German, and I speak German so that I can buy a steak and a beer, but that's it. I can't speak more German, so I just asked, can I have an English version of the contract, please? Because I don't understand, and I need to understand every single word before I can agree and sign. And then also, if there is big labels or really big players in the field involved, like we are talking about labels like act or ECM or really big agencies in jazz like Ted Kurland in the US, they have 20 pages long agreements. And if you don't know how to deal with those, you need to have somebody who can help you out. At the moment, maybe you don't have any of these. Maybe you have a street team, your fans are, supporting you on your gigs, but you don't have anybody who kind of, systematically works for you. That means that you are doing it yourself. And there are lots of very competent musicians who can do a lot of stuff themselves. They know how to record and write texts, and they have a friend who takes great photos, and they are very good in the social media, and they are visually, very idea rich, and it's possible. And you still maybe have time to compose and rehearse and go to the studio and perform and take care of your family and so forth. But if you are feeling that, okay, I'm overloaded, I need help now, I don't have time to focus on my music, I need somebody to sell my gigs, or at least, take care of some logistical matters, do my travel bookings or something, help me out, then you need to know how to do it and where to find the assistance. But the most important question is when to get that assistance. And usually it is when you have enough money that you can share it with your agent or the producer. There's enough big a cake that one slice, whether it's 15 or 20 or 25%, can go to your assistant. And it can go either way. You can maybe look for agents that you find good in their jobs, and your colleagues have spoken highly of them, and you feel that they might be good for me. They are representing the kind of music that is similar, and the roster looks kind of good for your band as well. Or it can go the other way around, that an agent approaches you that I would like to work as an agent. Like in my case, it's been going both ways. I have followed some bands, and when I know that they don't have an agent, I have offered my services, and vice versa. Bands have approached me and asked if I would like to represent them. But usually you need it when you are running out of hours in a day and you feel that there's a way to compensate for that work, and you find the right kind of partner who believes in you and who shares the same kind of working ethic and shares your dreams. If you want to conquer Latin America and your agent is thinking, oh, no, we need to go to Asia, China is the thing for you, and you're not, oh, no, China, I really want to go Latin America, then there's the conflict already. That's not a good match. You need to find an agent who believes in your dreams and shares them with you, and then you can work together towards your targets. Then you know where you want to go, and then you start planning what steps do we need to take so we get there, how to get to Latin America. And that's what it takes from the right partner, or whether it's a manager, whoever works for you, they need to share your dreams and agree that, okay, these are the goals that we have set and we work towards them. Right, so this is about the team. Any questions?
Any questions for this part of presentation?
I have one question.
Yep.
Minna,
Yep.
You said something about albums, and I catch the question. What do you think?
I can't hear very well.
Sorry,
Can you go again, please?
Yes. What do you think about releasing digital albums only in digital form?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's the sign of these modern times. It's of course not only possible, but sometimes it buys, especially if you are trying to conquer a territory which is not relying that much on album sales anymore. Then it's enough to go just digital, because that helps with the distribution, that helps with the PR and media contacts. If you have digital album, then you're not so tied to the traditional contracts with companies. But that does not work in every single country. Then it has to be a market area where it's, already a dominating way of releasing albums. But it's possible.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, anybody else?
Maybe I have some more question.
Jakub?
Yep.
You were talking about the street themes, and I was wondering if there is some big role of social media these days in conquering the other countries, because we sometimes struggle to conquer Slovakia with social media these days, and you see some opportunities to manage it these ways, or just go labels and official agencies, or make it yourself in the social media and street themes.
You mean that forming street themes in social media?
Yes.
Yeah, I think that's happening quite a lot in Finland actually, because it's about kind of building your community in social media. So when you are having a show, your fans, your street team, they will share the information to their own networks. So your 100 people's networks will become 1,000. So I think that it's very effective, and it's very wise to form these street teams in social media, because especially if you are active in different social medias, you have Twitter and Instagram and Facebook and TikTok, and then you can multiply the potential audiences. And if you have fans who really love your music, they are more than happy to share your music and pass a good word about you. And it can go across borders easily, as the social media, it's international, it's going everywhere. So that's a very quick, easy way to also grow your street teams globally.
And for example, when you're booking some bands you don't know, you didn't see before, you are checking how many followers they are.
Yeah, it means a lot, because if the band hasn't got a lot of followers, then I might think as a festival director, well, this is not interesting to many people, and I might still love the band, because also my taste is sometimes a bit strange, and I sometimes think, well, should I book this, because it might not bring a lot of audiences. But sometimes I strongly believe that if the band is speaking to me very strongly, there has to be something. Then I just need to verbalize it to other people somehow, that they get convinced. And in this respect, your fans are those who can verbalize your musical message to their friends who might speak different language. And I'm not saying language as Slovak, Chinese, Slovak, Spanish, but also in the right kind of way that they reach their friends.
Okay. Anybody else? Any questions?
If I may,
okay.
I'd like to actually follow up on the previous great questions. So you as an agent, so what are the main criteria that you consider? Okay, so this is the act I'd like to approach and work with. And if you could approximately mention some numbers, maybe you've mentioned followers, and especially on the events or for the events that you are booking acts.
You mean as a festival director or as an agent?
Well, as an agent in the first place, and if you could as well share some information as a festival director, that would really be nice to see your viewpoint on that.
Okay, there are three things. As an agent, if somebody wants to work with me, there are three things. First of all, I need to love the music. I absolutely need to adore the music. Secondly, we need to get along as people. We need to, be able to communicate. We need to understand each other. It has to be very fluent communication. Thirdly, we need to agree on the plan. So we are going to Latin America, not Asia. Or we are giving this project 2 years, and then we'll see if it works or not. Instead of I give 1, you give 3, but we both need to see, okay, 2 years. So these are the 3 things as an agent before I commit to work with anybody. And it doesn't matter where the artist is from. I've worked with artists from different countries, but the communication can nowadays be easily done like this. You know, we can go to Zoom or, you know, whatever. So that's not a problem whether you are living in another time zone either. But these are the 3 different things. Music, the getting along and communicating, and then thirdly, the shared plan. And as a festival director, it also depends what kind of venue I'm booking, because if I have a weekend-long festival with outdoor venues and it's free of charge for all families, obviously my choices will be very different from if I book a jazz festival, which is only, you know, a week long, every night, free concerts in indoor venue capacity of 400. It really varies a lot what I'm looking for. And then it's about the festival budgets, what kind of budget I have, where do I get the income, and what do I expect these artists to sell. But when I booked for one Helsinki festival, and there were lots of smaller bands, emerging bands that I really liked, but I knew that they are not going to be able to be the headliner, because I had a big venue, more than 1,000 capacity. But I put them as a support band. So they got a great slot as a support band for a big name, and I got to show the audiences the band that I really liked in a venue which was not normally kind of their capacity. So it's very difficult to give you exact figures as a festival director, because it's
Sorry, jump again. I guess I get it. So in your case, it's basically not the statistics or the numbers in the first place. I thought, or what I've experienced, maybe, of course, it's not a huge spectrum, but maybe in most cases, or in some cases, it's the other way around. So people would probably look at your statistics, your numbers, your whatever follow and whatever statistics there are, and basically continue from there.
Very common. That's very common way to do it. But sometimes, you know, when festivals are already quite established, they've been there for, you know, 25 or 35 years, and they have their loyal audiences. Usually in those cases, they don't need to stare at the numbers so much anymore, because their audiences will come anyways, because they come every year anyways. So in that case, you can be a bit more relaxed about the statistics.
Sure.
But if it's a new festival and you haven't really found your audiences yet, then you maybe are a bit more careful looking at how many followers there are for this band in my home country or in my hometown. But yeah, it will have some kind of a role, but whether it's a big or small depends about your event. Okay.
Okay, thank
You're
you.
welcome.
Yeah.
Sure. And then let's go. I think I have 2 more slides. We have 10 minutes. So let's go for the next one, which is kind of a keep in mind.
Okay.
Can't see anything yet, Sasha?
Do you see it? Is it okay?
No. No? I can't.
No.
Can the others see it?
Yes.
You can?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. So now you're seeing the when going international, keep in mind, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Exactly.
Good. So the competition is huge. And in the jazz world, it's not only about the US anymore. There are lots of really great jazz countries in Europe with lots of talent. So the competition is just getting bigger and bigger if we only talk about Europe, let alone the whole world. And as I said already before, don't compromise with your product for the commercialism, because in that case, you're just trying to please everybody, and then you might not please a lot of people at all. So I think it's very important that you are true to yourself and you make the music that you really want to make, and you sing in the language that you want to sing. If you want to sing in Slovak, sing in Slovak, don't switch into English. If you want to have a small acoustic combo, you don't need to include electric guitar or take a lot of horns or make it bigger, because if the acoustic sound is the sound that you are going for, that's it then. So be true to yourself and don't compromise in order to please festival bookers or label managers, because you will just lose yourself on the way. Repeating, be patient, take chances when offered. Sometimes you are given a chance that feels like, okay, I really should do this. I don't have the time, but I really should do this now. Find the time and do it, because you probably have the intuition that, okay, I think I should do this now. I had actually thought about, I'm going to have a free weekend, but I think I should do this. So if that's how it feels, do it. Again, collaboration with other artists in other countries might be the way to open doors to that one new market area. And that will also increase your reputation in those countries. And the next one is very important. This is people's business. When we're talking about jazz or world music or folk music, this is a lot about people's personalities, tastes, characteristics, rather than cold commercial major pop rock world. So be nice to everybody. Do not underestimate anyone. You never know who you are talking to. Somebody might feel like, oh, it's just another, musician, my competitor. But that person actually might be in a programming team of a festival, or that person might run a radio show, or that person is married to a very important festival director. So never underestimate anyone. You never know who is standing next to you in that bar at the jazz club, or in a record shop. Are there any there anymore? I'm not sure, but if there would be, if you are browsing through records in a record shop, you never know who might be next to you. And stay human. Again, an example just today related to this German speaking contract that I couldn't understand, that promoter had just lost his father, which I heard 2 days ago. So instead of saying, I still haven't received these papers, and the travel plans are not made, I just, sent my condolences, and I told him, well, let me know when you're ready to talk. So stay human, and remember that we are human beings after all. We might be professional in the music business, but above everything, we are human beings with our own weak moments and, private moments. And I think that's very important to keep in mind. Also, when we're talking about international music business, there are cultural differences, and it's not only about the languages, but what kind of lyrics are acceptable and what kind of humor goes through, or how you are being presented, how your stage act looks like and sounds like. And you need to stay active, even these days when there are no live business really, but you should stay active, take part in these kind of webinars, and try to keep in contact with people that you've been in contact before, just to make sure that they don't forget you. And if there are any events opening up, just go to those events. It doesn't matter if it's whatever music genre, but go out there and make contacts, talk to people, be nice, don't push too much, just kind of grow your networks, make more contacts, make sure that you are also active in social media. You don't always have to initiate discussions, or you don't have to always launch new videos on YouTube or something. Sometimes it's enough that you actually comment on some other video, or you comment on your friend's new album, or you take part in an ongoing discussion. But stay active and visible and network. And we go to the last slide because it's about the networking, and this is really the core of the business. So please, Sasha, can we slide?
I switch it.
Yes. So this is the last one, and this is really important. You need to know the people who you want to reach, or if you don't know them and you don't have the time, then you work with the people, whether it's an agent or a manager, who knows the right people for you. But even if you have an agent or a manager or both, it's still very important that you are also present yourself sometimes, because I've realized when I was a festival director that when I saw an artist somewhere, like a jazz head or Womex, it made me feel like, okay, that artist is very interested, you know, how the business works, and they want to be visible. And of course, all the journalists, they want to talk to the artists. They don't want to talk to the agents or managers. They want to talk to the artists. So, you know, you can give interviews, and then the artist or the manager, they do the business talk. But you as an artist can just, you know, hang around, be relaxed, you know, attend the cocktail hours and chat with people and give interviews. You don't have to do the business. But it's very important that you are there as well, because you will be remembered. I always remember those artists who were also present and not just let their team members go and they stayed home. So use all the possible chances to make wherever you think that there will be people from this business. So just go there, and you don't always have to have an active role, but you know, just to be there and chat with people. Sometimes you maybe make 2 new contacts, but they might be really important too. So quality rather than the quantity. Sometimes if you go to a new, let's say, networking event, a showcase event, or a music expo, and you don't really know how to maybe, you know, get the right people, just think, okay, I'm going to find 5. I'm going to find 5 people, and I use all the weekend so I can reach these people. And then you look for them actively. They might be sitting in a panel, and okay, you say, well, that's the face. I want to, you know, talk with the couple. I remember that face. So after this, I'm gonna, you know, pull her sleeve and talk to her. Or if you see them, you know, in a bar later on, you just kind of kindly approach and say, hello, I heard you talking today in a panel. That was very interesting. I'm so and so. So sometimes, you know, just focus on those contacts that are really meaningful to you, rather than trying to collect lots and lots of business cards. And take interest in others as well. It's not only about you and your music and your band and your new work, but take interest in the others as well. Like, you know, so what you are looking for, what are you doing here? You know, have you seen some great bands? What were your favorite acts? How was the festival last year? What was your highlight? And how is the situation in your hometown at the moment? And so take interest, because people are also human beings, you know, they are veins, and they like when they get to, you know, talk as well, and not just listen to a monologue, but, you know, be, you know, in a conversation. And do the homework. If you are a jazz artist, you know, make sure that that person that you want to reach is actually working in jazz and not classical music, because sometimes it's kind of, you know, a very bad beginning that you think that that person is working in the genre that I am working, and it's not true, or they have changed. So find out their background and if they really are the right kind of people for you before you approach them, whether it's email or talking, you know, in person somewhere. Be professional, respectful. Don't take too much time. Don't insist. Don't remind every week. If you don't get replies, that's normal. People are busy. They don't always reply. It's not personal. It doesn't mean that your music is bad. They are just being very selective, and they only reply to those that they really have a keen interest. So be respectful. Don't push and insist or get hurt or take it personally, because it's not personal. It's it's really about preferences and about the right time point as well. Maybe not this year, maybe next year. And if it's no, not thank you, not at the moment, that's it. You know, take it and next time. Make notes what you have talked to people about, form a database, you know, build your database on the contacts, who the people are, what they do, what they work for, when the festival is, what are the dates, what kind of profile they have, what kind of bands they normally book, if it's just really big commercial, or is this maybe more festival that my band might have some spot into. Do the follow-up if you meet people and you promise to send the album later on. Don't forget to send the album, whether it's a physical album or a link. If you promise that I remind you next week that my band is in town in 2 weeks' time, remind, put the name on the guest list. Don't forget, because it might be really important that one person who wanted to come to your gig in 2 weeks' time will get that name on the guest list, because that might be a turning point in your career. So remember all the things that you have remembered talking to people, and do the follow-up and start the database now. Not me, who started too late, and I've been struggling to collect my past business cards and try to figure out what was this person about, and things have changed quite a lot since. So be systematic from the beginning.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's my last slide. Any questions, anybody, about this or the previous slides that I've shown already? It's already past. I'm sorry, Sasa, we're a bit over time.
Yes, do you have a time? Do you have still time for a few questions or not?
If there are questions, I'll reply, sure.
Okay, guys, would you like to ask something? Any questions or not? Maybe it was a lot of questions during the presentation, and in the end, no questions.
Okay.
Okay. And in the end, I would like so many thanks to Minna to be here with us. It was really nice, a lot of really useful and really helpful information. I also for all the participants. And also many thanks for all participants. I hope we see you next time, maybe during the June, during another presentation, during the project BandsUP. And many thanks to Slovak Arts Council for supporting us, and see you next time, and have a nice evening, everybody. And yeah, and maybe if you would like to stay in touch with Minna, I don't know, is it possible to get some participants' contact, or yeah?
Yeah, maybe you want to put the last thank you slide. That's my contact information, just in case somebody wants to send something later. And I can also reply by email, written.
Okay.
It comes up to your mind after this. Yes. So it doesn't need to be now, but it can be later on. I'm happy to. So the very last one, that's it. So yeah, I hope it's been informative and useful to you all, one way or another. I'm happy you stayed awake this long, and really, as Sasha said, I can get back to you by email if you want to ask me something later on. Thank you for listening.
You see the contact on the screen. Thank you so much.
Good luck.
Have a nice evening.
Thank you.
See you. I hope to see you live. Bye.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Bye.
Bye bye. Bye bye. Thank you.
Bye.
Guys.
Bye.
Have a nice evening. Bye.
Bye.